What if the most ordinary day of your life was the one that decided to end it, or change it into something you could never explain? It was a Tuesday, not just any Tuesday, the kind that slips past you before you even realize it happened. I remember waking up to the soft hum of my alarm clock at exactly 6:30 a.m., the same tone I'd been meaning to change for months but never did. My room looked exactly the same as it always had. Gray walls, half-drawn blinds, and a pile of unfolded laundry that had quietly become part of the furniture. Nothing felt off. That's the thing that still bothers me the most. I sat up, rubbed my eyes, and stretched like I always did. My back cracked in 3 places. Predictable, almost comforting. I checked my phone, no missed calls, a couple of notifications I didn't care about, and the weather telling me it would be partly cloudy. I remember thinking, of course it is. The morning routine played out like a script I'd memorized long ago. Shower, lukewarm because the water heater had been acting up. Toothbrush, same mint flavor. Coffee, black, slightly too bitter, because I rushed the brew. I stood in my kitchen staring out the window while I drank it, watching nothing in particular, just letting time pass. If there was a warning sign, I missed it. By 7:45, I was out the door. Same route to work, same traffic lights, same gas station on the corner where the sign always flickered like it was trying to send a message in Morse code. I even stopped at the same red light where I always got stuck, tapping my fingers on the steering wheel, waiting. Everything was painfully normal. Work was exactly what you'd expect. I had a cubicle near the back corner of the office. Not important enough to be near a window, not invisible enough to be completely forgotten. Emails, reports, meetings that could have been emails. I nodded at coworkers I barely knew. I laughed at a joke I didn't hear. Time moved the way it always did there. Slow enough to notice, fast enough to disappear. Lunch was a sandwich I barely tasted. I scrolled through my phone while I ate, not really reading anything. At one point, I remember staring at my reflection in the black screen, just for a second. I looked tired. But that wasn't unusual. The day ended at 5 p.m. sharp. My friends had texted earlier about grabbing drinks, but I already knew I wasn't going. I typed out some excuse about being exhausted, which wasn't entirely a lie. I just didn't feel like being around anyone. That decision, that one small, insignificant choice, feels heavier now than anything else. I drove home as the sun dipped low, painting everything in that dull orange glow that makes the world feel slower. When I got inside, the silence hit me immediately. Thick, familiar, almost welcome. I kicked off my shoes, dropped my keys on the counter, and stood there for a moment, just listening. Nothing. No TV, no music, no voices, just me. I microwaved leftovers, ate them on the couch, and flipped through channels without actually watching anything. Eventually, I turned the TV off and let the room fall quiet again. That's when it started. At first, it was subtle, easy to dismiss. A tightness in my chest. Not pain exactly, more like pressure, like someone had placed a weight right in the center of my ribcage. I shifted in my seat, stretched a little, tried to ignore it. It didn't go away. Probably heartburn, I muttered to myself. That seemed reasonable, normal. I'd had worse after bad takeout. But then it spread. The pressure deepened, radiating outward, into my shoulders, my arms. My breathing felt wrong. Not labored, not panicked, just slightly off, like I couldn't quite get a full breath. I sat up straighter. Okay, that's new. I stood, pacing a little, rolling my shoulders, trying to shake it off. My heart was beating faster now, not racing, but noticeable, heavy. That's when the thought hit me. Is this a heart attack? It felt ridiculous. I wasn't that old, wasn't that unhealthy, but the symptoms, they lined up just enough to make me uneasy. I grabbed my phone, debating whether to call someone, 911, a friend, anyone. But then it stopped, just like that. The pressure vanished. My breathing returned to normal. My heartbeat slowed. I stood there in the middle of my living room, confused. "See? Nothing," I said out loud, like I needed to convince myself. I laughed a little, nervous but relieved. I sat back down. That's when everything went wrong. The room shifted, not physically, not in a way I could point to. It was more like something had slipped out of alignment, like the world I was sitting in wasn't quite the same one I'd been in a moment before. The air felt thicker, heavier. I blinked, trying to clear my vision. That's when I noticed the sound. A low, rhythmic hum, not coming from the TV, not from outside. It felt internal, like it was vibrating through the walls, through me. Okay, now that's not normal. I stood up again, slower this time. The hum grew louder. My chest tightened again. But this time, it wasn't just pressure. It was pulling. That's the only word I have for it. It felt like something inside me was being drawn inward, compressed, like my heart wasn't just beating anymore, but folding. I gasped, my vision flickered. For a split second, the room wasn't my living room. It was something else, dark, vast, endless. Then it snapped back. I stumbled, grabbing onto the back of the couch. What the hell? The hum intensified. And then I heard it, not with my ears, inside my head. A voice, not loud, not whispering, just present. "You notice," I froze. No, I don't," I said instinctively, my voice shaking. "I don't know what that means." Silence. Then the pressure in my chest surged again, harder than before. I dropped to one knee, clutching at my shirt. "Stop! Just stop!" My vision fractured, like glass splintering into 1,000 reflections. And in each one, I saw myself, but not quite me. Different expressions, different postures, some older, some younger, some wrong in ways I can't describe. "You were not supposed to notice," the voice again, calm, almost curious. I squeezed my eyes shut. "This isn't real," I whispered. "This is a panic attack, or something. This is where you end." My eyes snapped open. The room was gone. I was standing somewhere else. It wasn't a place in any normal sense. There were no walls, no floor, no sky, just an endless expanse of something that looked like darkness, but felt alive. And those reflections, they were everywhere. Versions of me, stretching out in every direction. Some were staring at me, some weren't, some were moving. "Where am I?" I asked. No answer, but the feeling returned, that pulling sensation, stronger now. My chest burned, like something inside me was being extracted. I looked down, and I saw it, a faint thread of light, connected to me, stretching upward or downward. I couldn't tell, and it was being pulled. No. I grabbed at it instinctively, but my hands passed through like it wasn't entirely there. This iteration concludes. "What does that mean?" I shouted. "What does that mean?" The reflections began to fade, one by one, each disappearing with a faint flicker. Panic surged through me. "Stop it! Stop! Whatever this is!" The pulling intensified. I could feel something slipping, something essential. Am I dying? I asked, my voice breaking. For the first time, the voice hesitated. Terminology, acceptable. My stomach dropped. No, I'm not ready. This can't be it. This is a Tuesday. I went to work. This doesn't just happen. Silence. Then, it always happens. The thread of light stretched thinner. I could feel myself unraveling. Memories flickered. My apartment, my job, my friends, every mundane detail of my life flashing through my mind. This isn't fair, I whispered. Fairness is not a variable. I collapsed, or at least I think I did. There was no ground, but I felt like I was falling. Then why show me this? I asked. Why let me see it? A pause, longer this time. Deviation detected. What does that mean? I gasped. The voice shifted, subtly, less certain. You became aware. My mind raced. So what? So I noticed something weird. Why does that matter? Another pause. Then, awareness introduces instability. The pulling slowed, just slightly. Hope sparked, fragile, desperate. Then stop it, I said. If I'm not supposed to notice, then just undo it. Let me go back. The darkness around me seemed to ripple. The remaining reflections turned toward me, all at once. That is not permitted. Then what is? I shouted. The thread of light flickered violently. Pain surged through me. Not physical, but something deeper. Like pieces of me were being erased. I screamed, and then everything stopped. The pulling, the pain, the voice, silence. I was back in my living room, on the floor, gasping for air. The TV was still off. The room was exactly as I'd left it. I scrambled to my feet, heart pounding, drenched in sweat. No, that wasn't real, I said, over and over. I ran to the bathroom, splashed water on my face, stared at my reflection. It was me, just me, tired, pale, shaken, but alive. I let out a shaky laugh. Okay, panic attack, that's all. Just a really bad... I stopped, because behind me, in the mirror, for just a second, I saw one of the others, standing in my living room, watching me, smiling, and then it was gone. I haven't slept since, because now I know. That wasn't the end. It was just not supposed to happen yet. And whatever was pulling me apart, it knows I noticed. It knows I'm still here. And sometimes, when the room gets quiet enough, I can still feel that thread tightening. If you enjoyed tonight's story, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. And if you have a creepy story of your own that you'd like featured on talesthyme, send it to talesthyme@gmail.com. Your story could be next.